I finished Little Nightmares 2 with so many questions swimming around in my head. These weren't questions about the story as such, but about the world around me. How do I view my own existence? Do I appreciate the things I have or the life I live? Will I ever understand the mysteries of our ever-changing lives or the terrifying step away from this mortal coil? Its story is a deeply philosophical case study presented in rich imagery and profound silences, encased in a nightmare masquerading as a reality. It's a phenomenal video game, but it's also much more than that. If you were to stay away from the internet, you'd have no idea what Little Nightmares 2 is all about. There's no text or dialogue, names of the characters never appear, nothing is ever explained to you, although this is how it should be. You start off playing as a young boy lost in the woods, carefully finding your way as you avoid pitfalls and bear traps, swinging from ropes and outrunning a crazed woodsman with a shotgun. You're filled with panic and an uneasy sense of what's to come. It's here you meet up with the girl from the first game, 6. After becoming acquainted, you evade the huntsman and travel across an unwelcoming and sometimes terrifying world. I ran away from an abusive teacher, an overweight physician, mischievous children wearing cracked porcelain masks, and the elusive and mysterious man in a suit. These encounters made up many of the most unsettling moments in Little Nightmares 2, but I saw a lot of images that left me feeling nauseous or uncomfortable, not because they were gratuitous or crude, but because they were strikingly honest and real. Halfway through, there was a section where I was walking across a rooftop as 5 men stood on the edge of a building. As I ran past them, they gradually fell from the ledge, killing themselves one by one. In this one scene, I realised just how special Little Nightmares 2 is. Ultimately, it's trying to tell a story about friendship triumphing in the dark, but at the same time it's reflecting real life. It's highlighting the hardships of 21st century survival, our reliance on media to entertain, and an ignorance to forming bonds outside our respective bubbles. I may be looking too far into the subtext weaving behind the narrative, but I found catharsis in what was happening elsewhere. It caused me to see things in my own life and the world around me that I'd chosen to ignore or pay little attention to. It forced me to open my eyes. There's so much macabre beauty in Little Nightmares 2. From the nightmarish creatures to the beams of light emanating from my flashlight, the finer details are what draw you in. Set pieces involving bright purple doorways provide appreciated flecks of colour, but the locations like the hospital and the apartments are designed so stunningly, swallowing you up and allowing you to become completely enamoured. Some of the things you have to do to survive are grim to say the least, but even then, it all looks so alluring. Another fine element to Little Nightmares 2's appeal is the music. These melodies are emotionally overwhelming at times, especially during the poignant moments involving the 2 children. When death is staring you in the face or you're running away from a gruesome threat, the score does everything it possibly can to rip your nerves to shreds. Even the sound effects are worth a mention, especially when it comes to the squelching of blood or the convulsing of flesh and the contorting of necks or blasts of a gun. The gameplay, which of course plays a massive role in Little Nightmares 2, is great, but there were times when I missed a jump or plunged to my death because the movement wasn't quite in tune with what my mind wanted the boy to do. The puzzles themselves, though, are fantastic. There's a lot of variety in how they can be solved, and the studio has done a great job at utilising the environments. You might struggle with a couple, but generally they're fairly easy to work out. My main concern is with some of the encounters. The panic doesn't help, but sometimes you need pinpoint accuracy to escape being grabbed or swallowed up. The factory was one of the chapters I really struggled with, but I had to pause and reflect countless times throughout the game. Despite the few problems, Little Nightmares 2 is still the best game I've played this year, and yes, we're only in February, but I feel it might take something big to top this as 2021 rolls on. I was affected by the story in ways the developer may not have expected, but that's games for you. Much like music and cinema, games can be subjective. While I would recommend this on the gameplay and presentation alone, there's something beyond the surface that resonated with me. Little Nightmares 2 tells a beautiful yet fragile story of friendship, sadness and searching for light in the darkness. The puzzles are well designed, the music is stunning and the visuals are on another level. It surpasses the original in every way, not just in how it looks or plays, but in the way the horror hits a lot closer to home than I could have imagined. It goes without saying, but Tarsier's follow-up is a work of passion and poetry, always asking you to look not just at what's behind the television screen, but at what's in front of it as well. And for that reason, I'm going to score Little Nightmares 2 a 9 out of 10. Hi there, Mick Fraser here. Hope you enjoyed that review of Little Nightmares 2 by Chris White. He reviewed it on PlayStation 5, but it's available on PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X, and... oh no, that's it. If you did like the review, please hit like and subscribe, maybe tag that bell icon too so you're kept up to date with everything we post on a given day. You can also check out our Patreon, and if you'd like to support us that way, we really do appreciate everything that you guys do for us. In the meantime, I've been Mick Fraser, and that was Chris White's review of Little Nightmares 2, and you guys have been lovely as always. Bye.